Hello guys. So in this video we will see the basic input output function that we use in C program, that is printf and scanf. And as the word suggests, printf is used to print some data on the console and scanf is used to scan some data from the console, that is get the input from the console. So these are the two basic input output function in C what we use, and generally whenever we write programs we will be using this a lot because since we'll be getting more of input and displaying some output. So let us understand the syntax of printf and scanf, how it works at low level and what are the ways we can use it for printing. Now, the most basic printf function, it is used for displaying output on the console, right? So the printf function, it takes one or two arguments as an parameter. So within this function, you can pass either one argument or two arguments. So what are those arguments? So the first argument you can pass is a simple string. So you see here, there's a simple string that it should print. So here I'm going to say this is a simple string to be printed. So you can see now once I execute this program, so on the console the output will be displayed, that is this is a simple, you can see this is a simple string to be printed. So how is this happening? So we are simply passing the string that should be displayed on the console. So this is the very most basic structure where we are passing a single argument, that is the string what we are passing to be displayed. Now in second case is where you have some data but you don't know what is the value might change or the value is unknown for now, later you will know the value. So in that case what you can do is, so in that case you can use arguments where you will be passing the format string and with that you will pass the format arguments. Say for example, passing format string and arguments. So let's look at example of this. Say for example, I have to print some integer values. Okay, so I have to print the number is, and I don't know what the number is, but here there should be some number. So in that case I'll be using some character, you can say special character, which implies that here there is going to be some data which value I don't know right now, but I know that for somehow reason there is going to be an input value here. So what is that value can be specified from a variable. You can either create a variable, you can say int a is equals to, say for example 10, and you can pass that variable through which it should display the value, or you can simply pass in the data that you have to pass. So this is example for your second case where we use format string to format the structure and then we give variable or we give the arguments, that is format arguments, that is the variable or the data to display. So now if I run this, see, so I have to give here other data. Let me give here a, where I have to print a. Oops, I forgot the small mistake, that's print f. So now if you see the output on the console, so it is going to print, see, you can see this, the number is 10. So you can see this, it is printed the number is, and I did not write here 10, but still it printed 10. Why? Because I told my compiler that here there is a number to be displayed, but I don't know what that number is. Get that number from this variable called as a. And what is a storing? A is storing 10. So that is how you are getting this, the number is 10. So this is example for your second case where we give in the format string and with that we give the value. Now it's not that we can only give integer, we can give strings also. For that we will use percentage s and I will pass here this string. So I will give here the string as Aman and let me give a slash n so that it will print in a new line. So now if I execute this program and if you see the output, so you see the number is Aman. So why did it print Aman? So I told my compiler that I don't know what is the data that is been coming here, but for now I know that it is a string and get that value after this comma, that is second argument. So second argument you have here. You can even give float value by giving format string as percentage f. So I can give float value 5.67. So now if I execute this program, so you will see in output we see 5.67. Now you will get decimal in 6 places, but you can see that a floating point or decimal number is printed. So in this case it is very easy to format your output. You can add some multiple data in such way you can format a string. So this is example for your print statement. So using print you can print data. So you can use percentage %c in order to display a character. Next, we have scanf function. So scanf function is basically to get data from console okay. So let's look at a small example where I'll be getting integer from user input. Okay, so here get integer input from user. Okay, so how do we get it? So first, initially I'm going to write printf, and then I'm going to say that, enter a number, something like this, so that the user will get to know that here I have to enter a number. And then followed by, I have to create a variable so that I can store the data in that. Now after that, I would use scanf function, and in scanf function I'll tell what kind of data you have to get from the console. So I'll say %d, that is, you have to get an integer data. So this is the format string for integer. %d is the format string for the integer. So here it will be saying that you have to get an integer from the console, and I have to give ampersand followed by variable name. So what this ampersand means, it generally means address. Okay, so that means whatever data you're getting, store it in address of variable a. And then after that, I'm simply going to give another print statement, and I'm going to display the value. So I'm going to say, let me print it in new line. So I'm going to say the number is, and then I'll give %d, saying that I don't know what is the number, but there is some integer that is being displayed here, and get it from variable called as a. So now if I execute this, compile and run this program, so you see in the output console, it is going to display message enter a number, and it's waiting for an input. See, it's waiting for a scan. So I'm going to just put 19 as the input. So you see, it is going to only read integer. So if I give 19 and hit enter, it's going to read 19, and then see, after hitting enter, it takes that as an input, and then you can see it displays as we have written here, the number is, and then we have given %d, saying that there is an integer that is going to come here, and that integer will be stored in this a. So from there a, I'm displaying it. So you see the number is 19. So this is how we basically use scanf to get input. So you can use %f to get float input, you can use %c to get character input, you can use %s, or you can use a function called get_s to get input of string. So this is how we can get various input from the user in C programming language.